You ever have a dream that just messes with your spirit in the wake world? Like after you woke up, the dream still sits in your spirit and messes with you emotionally or messes with your thought process? I figured while I file my nails, I will tell you about this dream that I had last night that has left me feeling like I am submerged in the middle of grief. So listen, before we get started, this is a we listen and we don't judge type of space because my dreams sometimes make absolutely no sense. And I don't want you to make judgments about me based off of the type of dreams that I have. Listen, I'm sleep. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Okay. Well, last night I had a dream that I had a friend. She was a Caucasian girl. I don't know who she was. I don't recall her ever in my lifespan, but in my dream, she was my road dog. And we went to the mall and we were shopping in the mall, just lollygagging in the mall like you do on the weekend. But this mall was unique. This mall wasn't like a typical mall that you would go to. And there was like a different layer or a different floor in this mall that had a secret club. And so she and I, we were shopping in the mall. And after we found outfits, we went to this secret club. Now, I can tell you that this club was like full of ballers and shot callers, as the old school people would say, right? And we go into this club and it's like celebrities in there. The music is bumping. It's scantily clad women in there. Just picture a club in 2025. That's the vibe that it was giving. But it wasn't just a typical club. It's like people on trapeze, all just imagine the wildest type of nightclub that you can conjure up with your mind. So we go into this club and we're in there, and you know me, even in my clubbing days, I always felt a little bit awkward walking into the club. Like, is anybody looking at me? How am I supposed to act? My demeanor. Anyway, we get into this club. I ended up meeting the guy in this club. Now, for the sake of this dream, I cannot remember this guy's name, but I ended up meeting this guy in the club, and he was so nice and he was so handsome. And I guess like in the storybooks, we ended up having like an instant romantic connection and we fell in love in the club. After that, the dream was he and I outside of the club. We were like at his apartment or at my home or something. We were living together. And we got into this huge argument about whether or not he loves me. And he had got upset, I guess, because at the club he saw me talking to someone else and he was questioning whether or not I was loyal to him and I loved him. And I'm just hollering and screaming like, I love you. I love you. You never have to worry about me. I love you with my whole heart. Like, why don't you trust me? The real dramatic scenes like from a film. Why don't you trust me? I love you with everything that I am. And he was like, okay. And then we embrace and everything is all good. And now we're happily back in love. All right, well then fast forward, I am back at this club again. Me and my Caucasian buddy, we are back at this club. So now when I'm coming to the club, I know that I'm going to see my boo. He's always at the club. This is where he hangs. Eventually, once we get inside and get settled in, I'm going to see my man and everything. We get inside the club and this girl, one of the waitresses, how in those type of clubs, you always got those like around the way girl waitresses that know all the tea. She clocked everybody that comes in there. She knows everything going on. And so I came in and she was like, hey, you such and such girl, right? And I was like, yeah. I'm getting ready to go over here and check him out in a minute. And she was like, and I was like, what? And she was like, you didn't hear this from me. But I gotta tell you, he was messing with such and such girl. She called out a name of another big baller. He was sleeping with her and messing with her behind his back and he killed him. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, girl, he killed him. But just if anybody asked, I wasn't the one that told you, but he did, girl. What? So I come into this club thinking I'm about to have a good time and see my man. And the waitress tell me he done got killed because he was cheating on me the whole time with some big baller shot caller's girl. And that dude killed him. The devastation that came over me inside that club, inside that dream. Y'all, I woke up out of my sleep because I was so sad. It was like an undescribable amount of sadness just came over me in the dream and it woke me up out of my sleep. Now, mind you, my alarm clock was going off and I had set my alarm clock for 6 a.m. this morning because I was going to get up at 6 a.m. Technically, the alarm clock woke me up out of this grief. I was so sad when I woke up. I felt like I had lost someone in the wake world. like the real world, wake world, we all awake. I was so sad. All I could do was reach over, grab my phone, and reset the alarm for 8 a.m. feeling that sad. Also, I am well enough aware of myself to know that if I went back to sleep, I would go back into that dream because I had some questions that needed answers. So I set my alarm for 8 a.m., closed my eyes, and lo and behold, I went right back into the dream, picked up right where I left off. So I'm in the club standing there like distraught, trying not to cry in the club because I wasn't even supposed to be given this information. Everybody else in the club is just acting normal, whatever. So I'm gonna just call her Becky. I tell Becky we need to go. So we leave the club and we get into an elevator. And when we get into the elevator, I tell her what the waitress told me. She told me that Boo Thang is dead because Boo Thang was messing with somebody else's Boo Thang and he got. So we are in this elevator and the elevator stops on the 10th floor. Wherever this club was, the elevator was going down and it went down to the 10th floor. So when we got out of the elevator, I was like, I think we on the wrong floor. It was some white gentleman standing there. And when I say white gentleman, I'm talking about white dudes look like they just got dressed out of Walmart couture, bellies hanging over their jeans. And they like, oh, no, you in the right place. You in the right place. And I was like, no, I think we're on the wrong floor. We need to get back in the elevator. We're trying to leave. And they were like, oh, no. You can't leave until you go ahead and take care of your business here. What business here are you speaking of? Y'all, those white men on the 10th floor was sex trafficking people. And anyone who mistakenly, man, woman, child, couples, because it was a white couple on the elevator with us who got off, they would actually force you into sex work inside their establishment on the 10th floor. And after they got done using you up and making you do whatever they wanted you to do on that 10th floor, traumatizing you and brutalizing you, then you can get back in the elevator and go wherever you may after they collect their money from all the sickos who are inside paying for said services. I should have got up at 6 a.m. So now me, Becky, and it was a white couple, a husband and wife, like the wife she just sobbing. I'm in disbelief. Like, this cannot be what I think it is. And sure enough, they forced us to go inside there. We had to do unthinkable things. Thankfully, thank God for his grace and mercy, because the dream didn't display to me in my head what I had to do in there. I just know that it was terrible. Like, that's all I know. I don't know what exactly I had to do. I don't know exactly what was going on. I just know it was sex trafficking. It was sickos in there. People were being brutalized and so on and so forth, because when we came back out to get on the elevator, the white man had been beaten half to death, beaten bad. So we get back in the elevator and the elevator takes us to whatever floor, and we get out and we take off. So now after we get out of this mall and this elevator, the sex trafficking floor, the floor that I found out they done killed my boo thang, now I am on a mission to find out what my boo thang's name is. Because yeah, for some reason, it's a dream. I could not remember his name. I wanted to search the news. I wanted to search newspapers, go old style, try to pull up obituaries to find out if, for one, he was really, really dead, like this waitress said, because you can't take everybody's word for truth. I wanted to find out if he was really, really gone, what really happened to him, and who did it, and what was his real name. Y'all tell me why, in the dream, I found an obituary that had his name at the top of the obituary and his photo. But in my dream, I could not read his name. Now, my best friend told me a long time ago, in dreams, you will not be able to read. I could see the name. And when I saw the name, I knew what the name was, but I couldn't read it. And because I can't read it, I cannot remember what his name is to this day to tell you right now as I do this video. But he was dead. The love of my dream life. And crazy. So I ended up going back to the club. Now, I don't know why I was going back to the club. I don't know if I was going on some vindications type stuff to avenge his death. I was going to find said baller and shot caller or whatever. But when I got back to the club, another waitress walks up to me and says something to me that absolutely mortifies me. She comes up to me and she goes, "Oh, hey girl, I'm so sorry to hear about boop," because I don't know his name, but she said his name to me in the dream, but I just can't hear it, remember it, or read it. And she goes, but that's all right, girl, because you going to be all right because I put your video on the internet. And I got about 4 or 5 shot callers and ballers. I don't know why it's still shot callers and ballers, but roll with me. I got about 5 shot callers and ballers that want to get with you. What video? She was like, girl, you know the video. I put the video on. And they feeling you, girl. Like you are that girl. Like I was waiting for you to get to the club tonight. What do you mean? What video? Y'all, them folks that had me on the 10th floor have videotaped whatever happened that my mind was blessed enough to have the blockage. They had videotaped it. And some type of way, this waitress got the videotape and figured she would market me on the open market. Mortified while grieving. Still don't know why I went back to the club, but I did go back to the club. I feel like I was going to be on my Bruce Lee A1 killer-ish, but I went back to the club. So now she tells me that there's a video of me on the open market and the highest bidders is coming through. When that alarm clock went off at 8 a.m., I hopped up out the bed and turned my swag on. Because no, I don't want a minute more of whatever this was going on last night in this sleep. I don't want a minute more. Now, I will tell you, when I woke up, I was laying flat on my back. And anyone who knows me knows. If you want to give me a good Ryan Coogler type of nightmare, allow me to sleep on my back. So I was sleeping on my back while dreaming all of this. But the reason why I'm making this video that you are watching right now is because I am still carrying grief. Like I feel so sad today. I feel so sad. And I had an absolutely amazing day yesterday. Easter was fantastic. I had all of my kids here. My grandbabies was here. We had a fantastic Easter. But today, I feel like I need to be at somebody's wake within the next 30 minutes. I am sad. So I want you to drop down in the comments below and just let me know, have you ever had a dream that either traumatized you, shook you up, either made you happy? We can go to the brighter side of things. A dream that just made you so happy or inspired you or just made you feel like you can conquer the world, or it left you feel like you grieving some Negro who cheated on you and you can't even remember or read his name. Yeah, drop down in the comments below and let me know, are you an avid dreamer, a vivid dreamer, a nightmare having slumber sleeping person? Just let me know and pray for me because I feel so sad. I feel so sad. All right, have a great day. Bye.